not talking about customer journeys anymore. He talks about experiences.
Yes.
B2C marketers have to talk to millions and millions of people with millions and millions of interactions and know exactly what they want when they want it, personalization at scale, and get out of those like siloed channels. This is not how people buy.
The changes that are happening, how are we going to be the first to leverage them? People are so focused on core gross revenue numbers, right? And not enough looking at sort of the below the line, like profitability of the campaigns that they're sending.
Because we want to help people. We want to be that guide for people and what you should focus on and how you should view the Klaviyo platform moving forward. Hello, Omar. How's it going, my friend?
Awesome. Amazing. Welcome. So we're recording a new podcast. I'm holding my mic. We have two other mics. And guess where we are at right now? Because this is, I think, one of the most exciting podcasts that we're going to be making.
Honestly, we just launched a month ago, and here we are in a very, very fancy podcast studio at K London 2025.
It's like in the Lion's Den. And did they say that? Was that what I was saying? Like in the...
I think so, yeah.
Lion's Nest or whatever. Anyway, it's like we are the center of everything right now. K London 2025. They actually prepared this podcast room for us specifically to be able to record the new episode of Klaviyo Geeks. And look at us. We even have some really cool...
I mean, we would ask you to scan it, but given you're watching the video already, then there's no need for it. If you saw us on the event floor here at K London, we hope that you scanned it and you gave us a nice follow on YouTube, Spotify. But this is really exciting. So what's going to happen today? Let's give everyone a little tease. I think the most exciting part is that we get to interview the CMO of Klaviyo, Jamie, and we're going to talk with the product lead, Grant, as well. Which is awesome. We have some really cool questions. Omar worked, he stayed up all night to prep questions for both of our guests. And these are gonna be the very first Klaviyo Geek guests. And I think there couldn't have been a better premiere for our first guest than K London 2025.
And you know what our goal is, right? I think for me is to get the founders of Klaviyo also on the podcast.
Well, if this doesn't get their attention, I don't know what will.
It's good that we get some mileage in, and I think for me as well, it is just an honor to be here, to be invited as well, and that we're allowed to record this here, and that is set up as everything like this today. So today's going to be a really interesting day. We're going to do some interviews. Hopefully we get to kind of talk to some people that are entering the event as well, just to get some feeling of what they're experiencing or what they are hoping to get out of this event. And maybe if you're watching, you also made the podcast.
I really hope they did. Yeah. So I think this episode is mostly going to be about feedback from K London. We're going to try and get a feel of what everyone is thinking the future of Klaviyo is going to be, the future of e-commerce, customer journey, email marketing, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, we're gonna come back in this room. We're gonna deep dive into a few things that we chatted on the event floor, and we're also gonna sneak in a couple of bits from the actual event floor where we're kind of heading in a minute right now.
And it's not going to be recorded, but also I'm going to be hosting panel today, so that's also something I'm really looking forward to. I still need to prepare all the list of questions, and
we can kind of debrief that as well, right? We can record your actual session, but maybe you can come back here and we can do a little.
Going to be on Klaviyo for acquisition basically, so we have 4 amazing panelists there. But anyway, back to the podcast. Really excited to be here. Really looking forward to today actually, and also
could be cool. Yeah, awesome.
And maybe what are you expecting? What are they going to launch? What is it going to be the thing they're going to be?
Man, I know they have a huge product roadmap, and I'm sure there's going to be a big bang of announcement today. I'm kind of hoping it's going to be WhatsApp. I know they've been teasing it a lot. They kind of just mentioned it last year at K London 2024, and it was more of a, hey, it's coming. I'm hoping this is kind of, when they launched last year and they said the multi-account feature for agencies.
What reviews?
And the year before was reviews, but I love that they always go hey, so it's live right now in Klaviyo, everyone can access. I hope it's going to be that, and then I have I have a few brands really looking forward to get on that.
I'm curious because there's also Klaviyo Boston coming.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
gonna be
headquarters. So I think they're gonna be holding out back some of these really big.
What are you saying, man? You think Boston is better than London?
Well, we need to make it to Boston then. That's new, maybe new goal that we're gonna record a podcast
I mean, we
there.
can. We kind of said, didn't we say that we want to have like each episode of Klaviyo Geeks in a different location?
Man, it's gonna be really expensive.
Yeah. Well, just quick reminder on sponsorships, guys. But yeah, no, it's gonna be excited. That's kind of my prediction. I guess not prediction. That's my wish, my hope. What about you? What do you think? What do you think they're gonna announce?
Well, I think I don't know at this point. I think something with AI, something. I think they're just also like the multi-channel affinity kind of thing that they are like something in that direction. How we're able to better communicate with customers. So I think somewhere around that area. But I'm not sure, man. If you look at what they've already launched in the last couple of months, it's insane. So at this point, I don't know. Anything with AI, language, I don't know, something in that area. We'll see. I hope they have something with data as well, like going back, like the marketing analytics is already cool, but maybe some really cool upgrades on there. That's
well, I'm kind of I understand why you would want that. You know, I was like, you're obsessed with data. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna be able to debrief a bit later today to kind of see what they announced. So super excited about that. Shall we?
let's head into
the actual event floor. So we'll see you out there.
All right. Welcome back, guys. So to go into the next part of this Klaviyo Geeks podcast, we have a very, very special host, and I want to introduce her the right way. So I made some notes so I don't mess this up. It's a big moment for us to have somebody from Klaviyo be on our podcast. So welcome, Jamie, to our Klaviyo Geeks podcast. Amazing to have you here. Before we go into introductions, just want to go back into my two first encounters with you. And to be honest, they have been really memorable.
Okay, I hope in a good way.
In a really good way. I mean, you're the most energetic person I've met, especially last year at K London as well. The only thing I remember, you came back, you just arrived from a flight from LA. I would have been completely jet lagged. You've been so energetic. So, I don't know, you were radiating. It's like amazing to see. So, amazing character. And I just had a talk with my Klaviyo partner manager, and she said, Jamie is my muse. I need to quote this well. I would so much love to be like her when I grow up. So big compliments. I think you're
so touching.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that also within Klaviyo, that people are really looking up to you. And we're really humbled to have you here on our Klaviyo Geeks podcast. Jamie, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, it's hard to follow that introduction. I'm Jamie Domenici. I am the CMO at Klaviyo. I've been there for 2 years. And I absolutely love my job. I get to market to marketers and talk about our incredible software. So I feel honored to be here as well.
Cool. Thank you. So you just mentioned you've been almost 2 years at Klaviyo. The one question I had, what I was really curious, I didn't ask you before, but what was the thing that stood out that made you move to Klaviyo?
Oh, that's a really good question. And I've been in the world of marketing and tech for a long, long time. And when I was thinking about what do I want to do next, and I met AB, the CEO, and I first was introduced to Klaviyo, and I thought this is something really special. And I'll tell you how I knew it was special. I would go into like Facebook. I probably watched your podcast. Honestly, I went on Instagram. I went into user groups, and I saw the way that customers were talking about Klaviyo, and they loved it. Like this was a software that people would post up their campaigns or their flow and show how much KAV they generated.
Yeah.
And it was like this incredible badge of honor. And for me, working with a company where customers love the software and it makes an impact and it drives growth for your business, like it gave me goosebumps. Like that's what I'm looking for. And two, I think that I love marketing. I genuinely love what I do. I'm super passionate about it. So the idea of marketing with marketers, and I spend my days talking to CMOs or people who are trying to figure out new growth strategies, new customer acquisition strategies, like that's my jam. So having the ability to do that with a company that was on this crazy growth train, I don't know, it was just something I wanted to be a part of. And I still do. I love it. It's awesome.
Cool. So Jamie just mentioned KAV. It's the metric that they're using at Klaviyo. Klaviyo attributed revenue value. No, what's
value?
Value. Yeah. So they're measuring it. It's like I think a North Star metric, what you guys are using internally. Just to call it out, not everybody knows that. And in the last 2 years, I mean, coming into a new company you need to get used to it. Like, what are some of the coolest things you've either worked on or you've done so far?
Well, when I started, after my first day, my boss said, well, we're going to IPO. And I was like, okay,
Right.
when? And he's like, well, in about 60 days. Great. And that was my first time going through an IPO with a company. And as a marketer, it actually was a heavy lift. You have to help build out all the messaging. We had to cover, the stock exchange. And so within 60 days, it was like hit the ground running, which was really exciting. But that's not all, that's one point in time. But actually, February, we launched the B2C CRM. That was probably my best day of work ever in my career, because we got to really help explain the power of Klaviyo beyond just where it started. Where it started, data, amazing. Email, super important. From then we were like email, SMS. And then I was trying to make a billboard and the billboard said, Klaviyo, we do email, SMS, analytics, CDP. It was like, this is not a good tagline. Nobody can explain it. So when we launched the B2C CRM, it was exciting to be a marketer, to be part of that, to help explain our company in a way that makes sense. And even more exciting, we're the first B2C CRM, right? So a company purely built to help B2C companies. It was a really exciting day to be part of, and it's still exciting to help bring that to our customers.
Cool. I don't know, and Bogdan is behind the camera right now, but we prepared questions. I was like, are you watching my screen somehow?
Oh my gosh,
No, it's
no, this is all new. I'm just telling you,
The next question actually was, Klaviyo has always been known for email, SMS automation. What convinced you to the time was right to expand into a full-fledged B2C CRM and call it the only one built for consumer brands?
Yes. Okay. So a little secret. I worked at Salesforce for 10 years. It's not a secret. Go on LinkedIn. But so I have been in this world of CRM for a long time, and I really value what a CRM does. Customer relationship management. It's pretty basic. It brings all of your customer conversations, all your customer touch points into one place. And what was interesting at Klaviyo when I first started, seeing how siloed everything was. You have email over here and SMS over here, and they don't talk. The channel, sometimes they do, sometimes, but they don't cross often. It was so siloed. And I was like, oh no, this isn't right. B2B has had a CRM for a long, long time. We need that here. B2C companies have the same challenges, right? Yeah. Even bigger. Yeah. B2C marketers have to talk to millions and millions of people with millions and millions of interactions and know exactly what they want when they want it. This is a CRM. And so we really recognize that. But it was when I met our customers, like Max Holland, who works at Castor. Yeah. He was with me today. His title is head of CRM. He's like, Jamie, we've been calling you a CRM for a long time. Why aren't you? I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. So that was when we realized Klaviyo can do a lot more than just email, but we needed to help the world understand that. And we also don't think it's just marketing. So not the only place you're having conversations. So the introduction of service was a really big announcement for us in February that we gave some more announcements on just today.
And I think maybe to give you some context or feedback on what we're seeing.
Feedback is a gift, yes.
In the conversations, and that's positive feedback, because in the conversation with our clients, we've also been seeing this in a bit, like who are the people we're talking to, what are the challenges you're talking to them, and how do you define your best customer for from the ones that are just starting out, kind of having this 3D map of how you're creating customer journeys. I just had a talk with AB yesterday. I'm not talking about customer journeys anymore. He talks about experiences.
Yes.
So how do you create good customer experiences? But the cool thing is that talking to a brand, they're like, yeah, but Klaviyo is more than email. It's like they started echoing, maybe because of what we were also saying a little bit, but they are starting to also understand this positioning of hey, it's in the center. What is the right channel to connect with people? So I think it is a really smart move as a company to kind of change the position.
Yeah.
I know there's new products that you guys introduced, but I mean, the core is still there.
Yes.
And just the mindset of, hey, there's more you can do. So
yeah, but you're right. Our customers told us, Max Title being the head of CRM, he's like, we're already doing that. The other thing I would say is our customers were using Klaviyo, which some people think is an email, for ESP. They were using it as their CDP out of the box. It was their data platform. And that's when we're like, why are we not making it easier for people to understand? And that's also why the KDP, the customer data platform, this is embedded. This is what Klaviyo is at its core. It is a data platform that captures information. And people our customers were the ones telling us that. And so we just had to do a better job of explaining it.
So that's actually a bit of a rebranding, not only externally, but also internally then.
Yeah.
Were you also part of like marketing internally?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the job of a CMO, right? I think you have to 100%. You need to be reframing internal. You build the culture, you build the messaging, and then you bring it to the world. So
cool.
Yes.
Wow, that's an interesting job to have. And all right, jumping to the next question. Klaviyo just announced Klaviyo Omniverse. What can you tell us about that, and how does that fit into like the B2C CRM narrative?
That's a great question. Well, so B2C CRM is every touch point across your company. So marketing, support, service, as well as your data platform, right? Now, go into marketing. That world is changing. We already talked about it a little bit. It used to be a very silo world. You have email here, you have SMS here, you have your push notifications over here, and oftentimes they don't talk. So with omnichannel, we believe this is the way of the future. Marketing is consumers are buying different. Yeah. They want you to talk to them when they want to be talked to, on the channel they want to be talked to, and they want it to make sense. It shouldn't feel disconnected. And so we believe that we need to make that as easy as possible for our customers to do that at scale. I know, right message, right time. We're like, Jamie, that's been around forever. But to be truthful, it's been hard to do.
Yes.
And so giving tools like the omnichannel campaign builder to give you one canvas to create every message and then personalize it, and things like channel affinity, where we're just telling you, hey, we looked at your customer. This is the channel they want you to talk to them on. And then you don't have to think. Like, that's the goal of technology, is just making it easier for you to do your job, really drive personalization at scale, and get out of those like siloed channels. This is not how people buy.
I think that two things. First, changing to the thing I'm seeing, like the channels, marketing channels, email, and those being in the lead is going to change, that the customers are more in the lead now. We're going to see what, like putting the customer at the center makes much more sense to unify also silos together and to have a better maybe experience for customers. All right, I think I had so the other thing is, for those that we've not covered it, if you're new to Klaviyo or if you've been using Klaviyo for some time, the cool thing that they just launched, the campaign builder, which first time I heard something about campaigns, I think it was a year ago. The view that Klaviyo had on campaigns not being an email, like a campaign is something you're trying to push out. It might be Black Fridays, it might be a product drop, it might be some kind of sale coming up. That's a campaign altogether. Like, how do you bring in the different touch points that make that whole campaign? And it shouldn't be just one email or one channel only. Like, how do you bring that together? So Klaviyo just introduced the campaign builder. Is this completely open already for everyone? Is it still in a private beta right now?
No, I think it's in beta right now, but you can share, go to klaviyo.com, and then now we have a page with all of our betas, so you can sign up and join the waitlist.
Cool. I think it's so cool. I think it's redefining what we're actually doing, and as marketeers also helping our companies and the business who we work for and grow, and redefining what a campaign stands for. For me, it was a mind shift, and for me as a whole. So jumping into the last couple of questions, how do you see Klaviyo enabling smarter customer relationship in 2025 and beyond?
I think that we're going to break down the silos of the fragmented conversation that allows you to really know your customer at a deeper level. And I think that's going to be the competitive advantage for B2C companies in retail and beyond. Honestly, everybody's trying to get to know their customer, right? That's what you're trying to do. But I believe it's the companies that know their customers that are going to win. And I think we're going to get you there faster. We're going to give you a lifetime of data, and we're going to make you really smart and make it easy to do.
This is something besides the Klaviyo Geeks podcast, but I think I was having a conversation with AB, and you just also confirmed, I'm thinking about a new pivot on where we're heading. I think going deeper into the customer data and knowing and understanding customers better. Thanks for that validation. Yeah. Good to hear.
Good. Also good we're aligned,
So what are you personally most excited about this year that you're allowed to share?
I was excited for today and the ability to meet with all of our customers here in London, but I'm excited. We have a big user conference in Boston. That will be in September, K-Boston.
K-Boston.
Yeah, yes. We haven't had our big user conference since before COVID.
Yeah, I was there.
You were, okay.
Yes.
Well, I hope you're at this next one.
Yes, I will be there.
Because I think it's going to be really exciting and there's a lot of energy. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think there we'll have some pretty exciting announcements.
Well,
Yep.
Probably Klaviyo Geeks will be there to cover all the latest announcements. So that's tune in, subscribe to the channel, because maybe we'll do a new podcast series with you.
Oh, yeah, that would
to
be
announce
good.
the new things, or maybe with AB. If we get to that stage, we're allowed to talk to AB as well. Cool. So one bold prediction for how e-commerce marketing will look a year from now.
So I was just talking about this with AB. I think e-commerce marketing is going to look a lot different, honestly. And I think I actually think it'll look completely different from where it is today, how marketers are really working. I think the Omniverse is real. I think that we're going to start to actually have to really work harder as marketers, and technology are going to be key to building out these personalized relationships. But we're going to have to be more fluid. We're going to have to adapt. I think the second thing is AI. AI is like a big, huge buzzword. It's a big buzzword. But, and I think it's a little bit scary for marketers. And so I think it's our job at Klaviyo to help democratize that, because it is so powerful. Like those tasks that you do on the daily that annoy you should go away. And I think that's going to be really empowering for marketers, because you're going to get to do what you do really well, like the creative part. Think about the evolution of the brand, and technology should just make you better at your job and operationalize a lot of those day-to-day processes that are taking your time and slowing you down. So I'm very excited to be a marketer, and I'm very excited about where the space is going. And I think Klaviyo is going to be like on the forefront, helping marketers get there faster.
Cool, thanks. So I have a couple of lightning round rapid fire questions.
Ready? Rapid,
so,
let's go.
Marketing buzzword you retire today.
Gosh, I was going to say omnichannel, but I think it's kind of the future. So I don't know. When would you retire?
I don't know. I'll probably say ROAS, but
ROAS. Pain in my ROAS. Okay. Well, I think
open rates, maybe. I don't know.
I would say AI. I love AI, but I think that's just being used as a buzzword. So I would like to say it in a different way.
All right, cool. Next question. Recent brand campaign that made you say, I wish we'd done that.
That's a really good question. I think one of the companies that did really good branding was, I have actually a couple.
Yeah.
But this is a big company, but I liked some of the stuff that Microsoft did around AI. I thought it was really good and relatable. I thought they had done a good job of bringing it together. The other is Shopify Editions. It's not that I'm jealous of them. I just think they do such a great job of highlighting their innovation, and they always kind of surprise and delight me as a consumer of their brand. So I think that's one thing. I really value their innovation and how they bring their products to life. So it's one I always kind of follow.
Cool. Book, podcast, or newsletter you recommend to every marketeer?
Oh gosh.
Besides the Klaviyo Geeks podcast, of course. But
well, of course. So you took the words out of my mouth. I actually would say my favorite book that I recommend to everyone to read is Multipliers, which is not specific to marketing, but it is specific to leadership. And there's a part in Multipliers where it talks about build bigger, think bigger. And so for your team, think of the biggest goal that you can have, and then your team will feel really inspired when they achieve it. But it's hard, right? It's hard. It's a hard road. But I think that's kind of part of B2C CRM, which was hey, we're going to go reposition the company into a CRM. That was kind of a big goal. And but then when the team finished it and the whole company, it was something we all rallied around. It's something that inspired us. And I think that drives great marketing. So Multipliers is my book.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And thank you for being on this podcast. It's really amazing to have had somebody with the title as you on our podcast. I feel really honored, and Bogdan as well, I think. So any last words?
Well, I would just like to say thank you for having me. And second of all, thank you for being a great champion of Klaviyo. I remember the day I met you, we were at dinner, and then I met you the next day at the event. And I was anytime your name comes up, which is often, I think Omar is one of the best partners of our brand. And I feel we're lucky to work with you. And you.
That's a really cool compliment. Well, I kind of became completely quiet there. So thank you very much. We're closing down this part of the interviews, and we're also going to have a next interview with Grant Deken, which Bogdan will do.
Exciting.
Definitely exciting. I think he has a lot of things they probably could hopefully share. So see you in the next part. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So we are back with the second part of Klaviyo Geeks. And of course, in the second part, we have our second special guest today, Grant Deken at Klaviyo. And I'm switching parts with Omar right now. So I'm going to be the one asking the questions this time. Grant, welcome.
Hey, I'm super excited to be here. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Of course. No, it's our pleasure. We started this podcast just a little over a month ago, and we already have the likes of you as a guest. Honestly, we made it already. We should probably just close it after one season. But no, Grant, thank you so much for coming. So just to kind of give people a little background about yourself, can you just tell us a bit about your journey so far and how you ended up at Klaviyo?
Yeah. So I'm a covering entrepreneur. I've started a couple companies over the years in the MarTech space, and before Klaviyo, I started a company called Unstack, which is in the sort of content and web personalization space. Worked with a ton of brands in the Shopify ecosystem and in commerce in general. And that company was acquired, and so spent some time post acquisition sort of integrating that, but got really excited to get back to building. And I had known Ed and AB over the years. We're all in the Boston ecosystem together. So I reached out and said, hey guys, we have some hard problems that, need solving. And I want to get back to building. And so joined Klaviyo a year ago to really help take on, new vision, new direction we have around B2C CRM. And, I'm leading the service efforts there. So
a lot of exciting things. One thing that Omar and I were really curious about is we asked Jamie the same sort of question earlier today was, what was that moment that really pulled you into choosing Klaviyo over any other company or project that you could have joined after you sold your company?
I think there are a lot of great companies out there. What makes Klaviyo special, I think, is just the way that, AB and Ed approached it from the ground level of being data first. And so when you think about, all the amazing things that, brands want to do, that marketers want to do, that product people want to do, right?
Yeah.
So much of it is contingent on how good is your data? How hard is it to activate the data, right? Mm-hmm. Sort of the magic of Klaviyo. So I think, looking at kind of where there were challenges and interesting opportunities, certainly, having, one of the sort of biggest sort of, foundational sort of systems of data available, to be able to build on top of was really exciting. And thinking about, what are some new applications, right, that we can put on top of that great sort of bedrock, that we call a KDP, right, here at Klaviyo. And so, I think that's a really exciting thing.
No, 100%. I mean, data has been the driving force of Klaviyo for the last few years. So you're definitely doing a good job there. So I think we're very curious, especially for our audience, which is a lot of, email marketers and junior marketers working with Klaviyo, is how do you guys decide what to spend your energy on when it comes to releasing new product features? What's that process like? Just, I guess, in a simplified way for our audience.
Yeah, I mean, I think every company, is trying to, I think, prioritize and build based on the sort of needs of the customer. Who's your ICP, your ideal customer profile? How do you show up, fight for them every day? Reality is there's also a million things to do, right? And so this is the nature of your question is how do you pick? And I think Klaviyo has done a really good job in a few areas, and I think we can be doing better here. But I think we have a good balance looking at the hard data, right? We just, talked about that a little bit. And, I think having great telemetry and understanding how people are using the app and where is value getting created, staying true to that. It's how do we do more of that, right? How do we go faster there? How do we deliver better outcomes for businesses? At the end of the day, it's got to do that, right? It's got to do it really well. So certainly that aspect of it. But I also think we've done a great job in things like our community, right? And hearing from folks in the community, the problems that they're having, where they're getting hung up, where it's too hard, where we got to make it easier. And then also things even like our champions program, right? That, Omar, you're a part of, many others, where we're kind of hearing from experts in the field who are kind of what's working for you? What are clients asking for? What are you seeing, right? So I think we have different levels of altitude that we get to look at and then kind of do a Venn diagram overlap. Obviously then with the company strategy as well and say, okay, great. That's our superset of things we've got to go after and we got to get right.
Yeah.
So I think, that's sort of how, I think at large at Klaviyo, people think about, product prioritization, but it's, at the end of the day, it's staying true to the customer, right? And true to driving value for them.
Yeah. It's an entire process. I'm thinking of all the, I often meet these frustrated Klaviyo marketers who are why are they not releasing that specific feature that I've requesting it for how many months or whatever. But, I guess it's a whole process to kind of choose what kind of gets built next.
Yeah. And even if it might be taking a while, it doesn't mean, a lot of times things are more of a not right now, not a no, right?
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
Just in that sort of prioritization process. Also things can be hard to build, right? And to get it right. And especially you mentioned attribution, right? That's the thing you want to get right. Right. There's not a lot of slack in the line on, on missing that. So we want to make sure we're delivering high quality, reliable product, especially in those areas. And that's just hard, right? It takes really, it takes hard work to do. So yeah, I think it's just like, it's a balance.
Yeah, no, love that. So you mentioned Omar's Klaviyo Champions. I remember you guys released the customer hub, right? And he was telling me, I remember seeing an earlier version of that and like how much you've changed it since then. So you use, I'm assuming you use a lot of that feedback to kind of improve upon the first release of the initial product.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, one of the things that Andrew mentioned earlier today, was we're trying to do a better job of bringing customers in earlier on beta features and getting things out there, and building those like faster like iterations and hearing that feedback. And yeah, I remember we showed it to Omar. I think we probably had, I don't know, maybe like 10 people were, using it. So super early days, and you gave us some great feedback. And I remember us talking about soulmates, right? You're like your best, like your super customers, right? How do you build for them? And right, well, how do you take the data? How do you take segments? How do you personalize in the on-site experience, right? So we were listening, and we were trying to take that feedback. And that's one of the things, we talked about today, right? It's like you can now deliver the right piece of content to the exact right customer in Customer Hub based on the Klaviyo segments that they're in and the Klaviyo data that's on the profile, being able to activate that so it really feels like one-to-one at scale versus, sort of more generic messaging. So yeah, we've been hard at work. And I think I mentioned Keynote earlier, we moved over 1,000 brands now. So I think, there's like maybe 10 when we talked to Omar, or over 1,000 now, probably over 1,100 today. And I think just that at that scale, what's pretty cool is you're almost in a way, we have sort of a subset of our own like Klaviyo ambassadors within this beta program that we're hearing from all the time. But then we've got enough scale behind it where we can actually understand if the qualitative input is matching up with the quantitative feedback. Right? Is the data reinforcing what customers are saying? And so you get those together. And that's how I think we've been able to ship some really interesting things.
That's awesome. So when you released, for example, the Customer Hub this year, and you released it to those early beta shoppers, what was some of the most surprising behavior that you've kind of discovered that you didn't really initially expect? Or was it any to begin with?
Well, I think there's a couple things. One was we're changing something like fairly important in the on-site experience, right? And so I think I expected more, to be honest, like I expected a little bit more resistance from folks. And in actuality, well, one of the things that we did was say, hey, this has to be super easy because nobody has time to take on another project. Nobody has, extra budgets to go like hire developers to implement this thing. So it's gotta be like 5 clicks and you're live and you're actually getting value. So we spent a lot of time to get that right with Customer Hub. I think it's how we've been able to scale that very quickly. But yeah, I mean, at the same time, right, like we got to make sure we made sure it's solid, we made sure it really works for customers. And I've been really impressed with, and maybe this is just sort of like the spirit of, all the entrepreneurs and sort of the marketing leaders and e-com leaders, like they're always looking for the next thing. So they're very willing to experiment and try things, especially when we make it easy. Yeah. And so that was a nice thing to be able to move so quickly and have folks, just turn it on. I think I did a panel earlier today, and in the panel we were like, hey, go here. You can just go to literally go to klaviyo.com/try-service, and you can get instant access to all this stuff that we're talking about. And as people came up to me and said, hey, like while you were doing the Q&A, I actually like set Customer Hub up on my storefront. It's live.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's amazing, right? So I think that's the kind of like thing that's really, really exciting. And then I would say the other thing is, even though maybe a learning for me has been, even though we've got a lot of what I think are very easy to use tools for on-site personalization. Again, like applying those segments to like who can see which coupons and which content blocks you're surfacing in Hub. Your customers will still say, hey, like I've got the content blocks, but I haven't, or maybe I haven't taken the time to do the personalization yet. And so I want to we want to keep making it as easy as possible just to like help do that for brands and really make sure they're getting the most of it. So we're thinking more about, it's not just enough to build the capability. You've got to take it all the way to sort of help activate for brands. And so I think just continue to really push on the ease of use is really important.
Actually, I didn't have that question, but I kind of just thought of it now. So I was thinking today, you guys now so many new features, and Klaviyo is becoming this sort of new type of beast, like as you said, the CRM for B2C. How are you guys planning on making sure that, I remember in our first episode of Klaviyo Geeks, I used to say that I told Omar that a lot of our customers, and by customers I mean our e-com brands that we work with, they often say, oh, and I log into Klaviyo and I don't quite know what I should do first. And oftentimes this is the reason why agencies exist in the first place, because we can help them. But how do you guys have a plan on making, the platform a lot more accessible with all of the things that you now have with, marketing analytics and, the new attribution settings that you have in WhatsApp? And how are you planning on making that just a lot more, I guess, as you said, improving the ease of use?
So even within service, I think, the sort of our ethos is it's got to be super, super easy for people to use, right? Full stop. And I think that's not unique to us, right? All Klaviyo teams are thinking about that, and sort of contending with what you're saying. Hey, we changed a lot, right? We've got a lot that keeps coming out. The navigation keeps getting longer and longer. I don't know how long it was, Omar, when you started, working at Klaviyo. It was probably a lot smaller, right? Now it's, it's going off the page, right? So naturally, we've got an amazing, VP of design that joined us, a few months ago, and I know people are thinking about these problems. So I think one is as a company, we're continuing to just obviously do the blocking and tackling, making the UX, making the UI better. We've also got head of AI now, right? And so, I know we're thinking about, okay, well, how do we take all this great data and make it more actionable more quickly? You heard Surabhi talk a little bit about that today from the analytics perspective. It's okay, I know all this stuff, make it one click easy for me to go, deliver more personalized campaigns to, these different segments of customers, right? It was a few clicks and she had that, right? Which would, maybe in the past taken someone, an hour or two to kind of get done end to end. So we're thinking about stuff like that. And I would say, lots more to come here, right? So be on the lookout. I know the teams are thinking a lot about this. How do we use AI? How do we action the data? It's AI first, right? It's embedded in the platform. What that should mean is that we are helping to do exactly what you're talking about, which is figure out, what's working, what's not, what to do next, right? And then helping actually do it, helping brands actually do it.
Okay. Bridges quite nice into our next question. So what can you tell us about we talked about this earlier before you started recording, about the AI conversation element. I'm more interested in things because you touched upon it a little bit, and how, if you can, or whatever you can share, and how you're going to use it in things like WhatsApp and SMS, how that's going to look like. Just some early thoughts on that.
Yeah. So it's early, and we're really excited, and we're seeing some pretty awesome results, to be honest. So I think I mentioned this earlier. So every brand has access to Customer Hub now. Actually, also has access to our AI agent, and similarly, just in a few clicks, right? It's already trained on all of your Klaviyo data and knows everything that's going on the website. And so out of the box, there's not a lot to do to really get it to start doing work for you.
Yeah.
And solving real problems. And so we started there by just making it an extension of Customer Hub, making it super easy, right? But web is one of a ton of channels, right? And you guys heard today, we're talking about the Omniverse now, right? It's a very cool term, right? But what that means is we've got to be wherever customers are. And that's not just in sort of, the push campaigns that we're running, but it's also, when, customers are engaging back, right? How do we then, do that personalized at scale? And AI is going to play a really important role there. Mm-hmm. So the AI agent that we're talking about today, and that's available today in Customer Hub, it can continue, to expand the number of places that we can activate it, where it can engage with customers, whether that's, on email or social media, or SMS or WhatsApp, as you mentioned, right? So it's all those are things that we're thinking about and sort of, working towards, certainly excited for.
That's really cool. A much simpler question for you. What keeps you up at night right now?
Oh, it's a great question. All right. I'll say this, I think that we're shipping really fast, and I think that we're really in tune with our customers, but I think we're always just trying to do more and do it as fast as possible. And I'd say AI is, certainly changing. The rules of AI are changing all the time. They're being rewritten, right, every 6 months. So I wouldn't say it's something that keeps me up at night necessarily, but what keeps me really engaged and exciting is sort of being paranoid about the changes that are happening. And how are we going to be the first to leverage them, out of really kind of almost out of nowhere, Shopify dropped an MCP, right? You know, we were able to change our roadmap sort of on a dime and said, hey, like, let's start engaging with that. Let's start pulling that in. Let's start seeing how we can activate more use cases there alongside the other things that we're doing, right? And so it wasn't on our roadmap. All of a sudden, right, it was there. We're like, boom, like I think 5 days we had something working, right? And we were
that's good. So you guys didn't know about that, and you kind of like just shifted your priorities after you found that.
Absolutely. And so I think, that's the kind of thing where it's all about leaning in, you know, and, you know, I think that, you know, being very engaged with like the problem set, you know, allows us to kind of do that. So,
I mean, I would definitely say it's kind of like keeping you up at night. Cause like I have the same energy when it comes to like, you know, doing Klaviyo strategies for our clients. And I do oftentimes kind of like just find myself in the middle of the night, I should do that, but how am I going to do that? So it's like, do you find yourself kind of like thinking, you know, sort of in broad, you know, like in the middle of the night, like about new things that you could implement? And
100%. That's usually a very good sign you're doing the right thing. Like you're in the right job, right? Like when you're like, I can't sleep, you know, because I'm so excited about this, or you know, your mind's racing, right? Like it's a good sign. I like to say like the best, you know, you kind of know you're working on the right stuff if you get kind of, you know, obsessed with the problem. As we think even about like expanding our team, or like, you know, hiring other, you know, PMs and engineers, we're like, we want people who are like customer obsessed, problem obsessed, because that's going to lead to like the best products, right? The best
100%,
experiences.
100%. So today there was a lot announced, a lot of new features, a lot of new things you guys are launching.
Wait, by the way, what was your favorite thing today? Maybe top two. I'm curious.
I gotta say, so I was very excited about WhatsApp. I was very excited about WhatsApp. I got myself I got our clients on the beta access as well, which we're still yet to get. I'm hoping.
Okay,
fingers
I know
crossed.
some people.
You know some. I mean, you're here. You know what I mean? Like, press a button, make it happen.
Yeah.
So WhatsApp was great, but honestly, the one that I kind of knew about because Omar kind of told me about it a little bit was the new campaign builder, where you kind of have the WhatsApp, and then you have SMS and email, and then you kind of have that conditional split of like what's the channel affinity, and then you kind of send them the message based on that. I think I was literally, and I'm pun intended, like a geek in that moment. I was just, this is awesome. So that's definitely my number two.
I mean, I think it's historically been so hard to like pull all of these things together. And so you just end up with all of this sort of smattering of efforts. And I think being able to do it all in one place, it's clearer, it's more efficient, it's going to perform better. And then you layer in some of the AI stuff like channel affinity, you know, I think that's...
honestly. And then to kind of give you, for you to know that you're definitely doing great in the products that you're launching now. When I saw that, I was already thinking how I'm going to change my own workflow in our agencies and how we're going to do campaigns with the new campaign builder, how that's going to be in our strat. I was already like, everything was built in my mind. I was like, that's when you know you're building something that your customers actually want. Yeah. So anyway, a bit of kind of feedback and praise for you there.
Awesome.
Cool. Awesome. So my question was, if there's anything obviously as broad and generic as you can be without giving too much away, you know, what are some of the updates that you're currently working on that you haven't announced and that you're very excited about, as much as you can give away?
Yeah, I mean, I think on the service side specifically, you know, we teased some of the things that we have shipped recently, and then also I think some of the stuff that's coming. So, you know, across the three products that we have is Customer Hub, right, our conversational AI, and then also our unified inbox, which is really all the sort of like traditional help desk tooling that you think about to really help your agents, you know, I think address, you know, problems faster and with more context. Again, like, what we really love about this is we're bringing kind of the world of service and marketing together and have all that data in one place. So things like being able to like pause all of your marketing, right? When somebody has, you know, an issue or an open support ticket, right? It's a small thing, but it matters, right? And it's easy to do with Klaviyo. I would say some of the other stuff we're doing, you know, we're deepening the integrations that we have. A number of people came up to me today and said, hey, like I need some more like subscription support. Is that coming? Yes, like we're working on that, right? We've got great partners there that we're working with, you know. I was chatting with, you know, someone over from Loop Returns earlier, right? We're doing a lot of
shout out to Loop Returns.
Shout out to Loop. Yep, we're doing a lot of great work with them. We've got a Wonderment integration that wasn't on the slide today. That's you know, coming out. So yeah, I think what's cool is like we kind of only showed and hopefully these are like recorded and we're gonna, you know, put out the presentations and everything. You can see sort of a selection of the things that we have, but there's actually a lot more, right? And so those are some of the things that we're doing. I'm also really excited about some of the new kind of, I think of it as like our service attribution, which is like really making sure that all the sort of touch points that happen within the service area, where we're driving revenue, and just making sure that we're helping, pipe that back, into Klaviyo, so you can see it all in one view, particularly around like product recommendations and our conversational AI. So you have these great, AI conversations. Somebody says, hey, I've got this item, like, what goes well with it, right? And AI is really good at figuring that out, and then, being able to see kind of the sort of the attribution on that and credit that back and know, hey, wow, the AI is actually like doing more than answering questions. It's actually driving outcomes. And like, we think that's really important. So pretty excited for that to come. That's some work that we're doing there. We're deepening our integrations with help desks. So, if you want to use Customer Hub and you want to use AI agent and you want to keep, some of what you already have within your service stack, you can absolutely do that. I think just, bring down the barriers, help people get value, deliver the best experience, and meet them where they're at. So yeah, there's a ton coming. We're really excited about it.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to do a lightning round right now. We did it with Jamie earlier as well. I'm going to ask you a question and try and answer as short as possible. First thing that comes into your head.
All right.
Here we go. If you take too long, we'll cut it. Don't worry. So viewers won't be able to.
All right.
So first one buzzword you hope to disappear by end of 2025.
I think by the end of this year, I'll be pretty tired of the word agentic. It's kind of coming up everywhere.
Yeah, okay, yeah, good. A channel that you think will be overperforming in next year, 2026.
Yeah, so I'm going to give a different answer, which is, given that we just launched the omnichannel campaign builder today, I'm going to say all the channels, because you're going to be able to orchestrate them better, using Klaviyo. So whether it's a WhatsApp, SMS, email, web, we're going to help you do it better. So it's all the channels.
Very good PR answer. Yeah. Product metric most teams still track wrong.
Product metric most teams still track wrong.
This was Omar's question, so I'm not sure what he meant by it, but
I think even today, even like with a lot of the changes happening in the industry, people are so focused on, on the sort of like core sort of like gross revenue numbers, right? And not enough looking at sort of the below the line, like profitability of the campaigns that they're sending, programs that they're running. And so I think like both are important, but it's kind of like the talk that Rory just gave. Like if you're all in on one, all in on efficiency and not in on, the other, right? Like you need a balance. So I think brands that are balancing, the way they're looking at growth and campaigns across all their marketing with kind of understanding the sort of below the line efficiency and what's profitable and sustainable and durable, I think is like really important for folks.
Cool. All right. Last one, a book, article, podcast, framework, whatever you want to choose that helped you build better products or helped you have a better understanding of building.
There's so much good stuff out there, but a book that I read many years ago, I was on vacation in Costa Rica, and there's a book called Hooked. And I think it's by first name Nir.
Yellow cover?
Nir.
Is that the one with the yellow cover? Yes.
There's two editions of it. There's like a brownish red one and there's the yellow one. I did like a reprint. It's just like a great foundational primer for folks who want to build a great product, because it really talks about kind of where there's core ways to sort of activate users, to get them to invest, to get them to stay with it, and then ultimately, get increasing value. So that one is one I've read so many years ago, probably a couple of times now. I pick it up, read a couple pages of it. That stuck with me. And I'm excited actually after having Rory Sutherland here talking about his book Alchemy. I'm gonna give that a try. So that'd be another one. And then of course Lenny's podcast. I just think the content is fantastic for all the product folks they have on. So
everyone kept talking to me today about Alchemy, so I have to give it a try myself as well. Yeah, I mean Rory was fantastic on stage, so definitely convinced me. Grant, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. So one final takeaway for our Klaviyo Geeks viewers looking at the camera. Anything you want to say to them?
Klaviyo.com/try-service. Come give us a shot. How'd I do?
I love that. That's great. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming. We really appreciate it. And we'll have you over again soon.
Okay. Thanks, guys. This was great.
Awesome.
I appreciate it. All right.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
So here we are. At the end of the day, we went on the event floor. You guys saw lots of cool interviews with people attending Klaviyo. We had a very, very, very special guest here, which was the CMO of Klaviyo, which was a fantastic interview by Omar. We just wrapped up our interview with Grant, the head of product service at Klaviyo. Omar, what are you wearing?
Man, today has been an interesting, I won't say how to say,
up and down. What was it? What we're looking for?
Anyway, interesting.
You know,
right?
yeah.
A lot of amazing people. We interviewed a lot of people as well during the event. Amazing to have the guest speakers here. Even talking with the co-founder of Klaviyo as well. I mean, it has been pretty cool. But to top it off for me, I don't know. We'll see if we can put it in, maybe some footage in this podcast. But
so I'm gonna say, and then we're gonna add the video afterwards. But for everyone listening in or watching in, probably already a few weeks after this event, Omar was just named by AB himself on the stage of K-London 2025, the one and only Klaviyo, the one and only, the first Klaviyo legend, which trumps any title really, better than Klaviyo champion, the ultimate Klaviyo friend.
Yeah, I'm still speechless. I don't know what to say. It's a humbling experience, and it's really cool to see that they actually made all the effort, and they gave me this really nice, I think, one-of-a-kind first. I think this is a one-of-a-kind, basically.
It is one of a kind, and it looks great on you.
Limited edition, with my own initials on it, jacket, and it does bring back, like, these jackets were actually, I just heard, also first made in Boston in the 1800s. So there's like some tradition.
So there's like some symbolism there.
Yeah, definitely. So man,
this was a fantastic day. This was obviously, for everyone listening in, it was a bit of a different formatting of the podcast. There's a bunch of different things stitched together, but we hope that you got value out of it. Now we're going to leave you with one thing. I'm going to have Omar do it first, and I want him to tell me his biggest takeaway of today. What's the thing that you're most excited for? What's the thing that really got you, oh my God, I love that.
I think I already said it in the interview with Jamie. For me, I just got a lot of confirmation on, with all the AI, all the things that are changing in the world, where things are going to be heading, and like the direction things are going to be heading. It's not going to be about creating more amazing, nice emails or even only text, like the copy you're going to be writing. It's going to be about putting the customer at the center and really seeing how you're going to be communicating with that customer. And even on the things that Rory Sutherland was saying, on the one hand being really transactional, on the other hand it was being more relational exchanges of like giving a bit, getting a bit, instead of like only taking. Like being able to play with that more for customers, I think is going to be the most important thing, and to be able to get into the next phase, because Klaviyo has put out so many new things, and I think this is just the beginning because more is coming. If you're just an email marketeer, it's not enough anymore. So if you're listening into the podcast, and even if me being on stage today was the reason for you to listen to this podcast, welcome to the show, by the way.
Yeah. So many new listeners.
Yes, I hope so, yes.
I really hope so too.
But I mean, even AB said it on stage today, like, hey.
He even has a podcast, Klaviyo Geeks. Did you see that our podcast banner was on the stage, was literally on the screen?
No, sorry, I was completely taken by surprise.
They took our podcast marketing banner, and they also took the image of us in the Klaviyo office, where it's like we're pointing to the Klaviyo logo.
Cool.
And it was like with the Klaviyo Geeks show, and I love that. Like honestly, such a nice custom thing to do.
Personalize it.
Yeah, very personalized. Well.
So I think in the end, always for me, it's also to inspire others, and to also like there's a lot of things coming at us with AI. Things are changing. Some agencies are already making decisions based on this, but I think for us it's important to start looking broader and not more narrow, and starting opening up to not being only an email marketer anymore. That time is gone. You need to start understanding business economics, like also with all the things like marketing analytics, RFM analysis, like all these things are coming into play, and there are so many more things that you can now play with to have a positive impact for businesses, either if you're working on the brand side or if you're working in an agency or you're a freelancer, that you can now actually have use to make better informed decisions on things. So I think that will be my main takeaway. For me, it's basically confirmation a lot that the direction we're heading is the right direction. And you never know. So it's also a decision I'm going to be making. But I think with the time that AI and all the things that are coming out are going to save us, the impact we're going to be able to make there, allows us to also have more time to do deeper research on the customers and understand them better and help our customers to be even more relevant to their end customers. Anyway, what was yours?
I think you hit the nail right on the head. So I'm going to be a bit cheesy. There's lots of things that Klaviyo announced today that I'm excited about, and I'm sure I would have already talked about it on LinkedIn by now. But what I'm going to say is that my biggest takeaway for today is the conversations that I've had with some of the people on the event floor, not just the ones that we interviewed, but just some of the people that, like, I gotta say, not in a shallow way, but having this podcast did allow me to be recognized more today, which was quite cool in a way, because people got more of a reason to come talk to me out of other people that are here. And some of the conversations that I had were really with very junior marketers that want to learn Klaviyo, and they were asking for advice. What should they do? What should they focus on? People that want to start agencies, people that want to get into freelancing, people that want to get jobs. And it just reminded me that we have our own agency and we do lots of cool things with clients, and we love Klaviyo as a platform, but it reminded me why we do this in the first place, why we went out of our way to really not come to this event as attendees to enjoy it, but really to spend half, if not more than half of our day in between the podcast room recording and taking interviews, and because we want to help people. We want to be that guide for people and what you should focus on and how you should view the Klaviyo platform moving forward and what things you should learn. And that's why Omar and I are here, and we hope to build the next generation of email marketers, not the ones that show before and after screenshots of a Klaviyo attributed revenue, but the ones that understand the true holistic journey of what it means to work on a platform that's going to be the only CRM for B2C. And I'm really excited about it, man. I'm really excited. And with that, I think we can wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't yet, hit that follow. If you're on Spotify, which I now know it's officially our top platform when it comes to listeners, please do go at the top, click on the little stars and give us a 5-star rating if you loved it. If you didn't love it, tell us why and we'll improve. We listen.
I mean, there's also KlavioGeeks.com. You can also email us or send us a message on LinkedIn, whatever. We want to do better. And if there's anything you're struggling with, or if you want to learn, let us know. Then we can cover it in one of our app.
What did Rory Sutherland just say? The best kind of feedback is negative feedback. So yeah, was it Rory or was someone else?
I think.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.
See you in the next one. Bye.